MHA podcast. MHA podcast.
MHA podcast.
Hey, I am hosting this show, Quinn.
I'm sorry.
You are taking the words right out of my mouth. Todd's drooling at the mouth. Let me get you a tissue right here.
I'm worried that he's Nick Foles.
I see the word regression plastered all over his stats.
Well, and I cheated a little bit here.
You bastard, how could you? This is a cheat-free zone, a Tom Brady-free zone, and you're funking it up.
If I want to win a fantasy championship, I don't want my quarterback doing that crap.
I have Theo Riddick in front of.
Okay.
What the
Wow. Eddie Lacy's going to be great. How could you, in your right mind, in your sane mind, Eddie Lacy's going to be great?
I don't like doing it, but I'll agree with Todd. I totally disagree with Todd.
Especially with Quain. I hate drafting next to Quain. I'm just gonna have that bottle of tequila right next to me. See, people should be listening to the show just to strategize around us. Pay the man or trade him. Oh my gosh, so much to talk about on this 2018 post-draft MHA podcast. Eric Lansing, Mikey Renault, Todd Diamond to talk about what happened on the draft. We're also going to talk about all the news and notes, which includes Le'Veon Bell, who's still not in camp, and we'll also kind of give some advice for those who may need some help. Week 1, which is starting tomorrow. How exciting is that? Football in less than 24 hours. How exciting. Are you guys ready for the new season?
Praise be to the Lord. Thank God. Finally football. It's great during the off season. We talk about it. It's great to speculate and predict, but now it is for real. I'm ready. I'm freaking ready. I have to work tomorrow night, but guess what? I'm still going to be on my phone following everything. If a customer comes and asks me for something, I'm going to hold on a second. I got to see if Matt Ryan threw a touchdown pass. Bam. That's how excited I am.
Especially those buying Nike shoes. We'll
Yeah,
see
exactly.
how that turns out for you tomorrow at work. Mikey, what excites you the most about the NFL being here now?
Everything.
Everything. Give me one thing.
It's a chance for me to once again show how great I am.
Why should we be surprised? Why should we be surprised?
By now, right?
Right? I figured you'd be like, I'm excited to watch football, not move all day, or I'm excited for that first fantasy touchdown to be scored. It's about you.
Yeah.
The Mikey Renault Show, the MFL.
Pencil me into the playoffs. That's one prediction you should all have on your sheets.
All right. Maybe I won't hang out with you on Sunday. Maybe I'll do something else.
Well, that's going to be great. You and Aaron?
That's right. Me and Aaron going toe-to-toe in the very first week. Okay, so let's talk about the news and notes. My first note is not going to be my first note because the first note is something I've already mentioned. Le'Veon Bell still not with the Steelers, which more than likely means he's not going to play on Sunday. Poor Dylan, who drafted him with the second overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we have the draft board right there. I can look up. So good job, Mikey. You brought the draft board, and I needed it after all. So he'll have to figure out what to do and put in his place. It looks like he's got Carlos Hyde, maybe T.J. Yeldon, and Philip Lindsay. He's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But anyway, so give me your quick thoughts. Do you think this is going to last? Do you think he'll be back by game 2? Just give me something. What do you think about?
I actually think that he may hold out a little bit longer. I don't know why.
Week?
It's just a gut feeling.
Sure. Why? Yeah. Is this a sticking it to the Steelers type of thing?
Kind of.
Is it a money thing? Because I think they said Saturday is the last day where if he reports on Saturday, then he gets all the money despite not having to play on the first day of the season or the first week of the season. But, you think it could last longer?
Maybe.
So Dylan's shaking in his Nikes.
It just seems like he basically came out last year, told him, don't franchise me again, and then they did it anyway, and then they didn't come to an agreement. So, while I don't think he's going to, miss the majority of the season or anything, I kind of think it's like a stick it to him thing a little bit.
Okay.
Just a gut feeling.
Yeah. He wants to set a precedent for I think not just for himself but for the next group of running backs that are going to get paid, because Ezekiel Elliott's looking at this situation, David Johnson's looking at this situation, Leonard Fournette's looking at this situation and saying, and listen, if Le'Veon Bell can win this battle, it's going to be great for them. It's going to be great for us. But if I don't know. This one's tricky. I mean, he wants to be paid. He wants to be paid like the best running back in the league, and I think we can all agree he is probably the best running back in the league of what he can do. But he draws the line. He's drawing the line in the sand, and he ain't moving. So I agree with Mikey. I think this will hold out for I think probably till week 10. I don't think we see.
I don't think
cow.
it's that long. I don't think it's that long. It's just enough to make it hurt. There's some rule, and you'd have to look it up because I don't know exactly what it is. Where if he doesn't sign, I think it's before week 10, then he would lose his free agent year. So, and he's not going to do that.
No.
So he'll definitely. I think that's probably week 8, but I think he still reports before that. I think it's just enough to make it hurt.
Okay.
Yep, they're going to hurt fantasy owners all over the place.
Yep.
This is terrible news.
I don't think
I hate
he cares
it.
about that.
I'm sure he doesn't care, but this is a fantasy show. So I blame the Steelers. Freaking pay the man or trade him. Stop with his nonsense.
Yeah.
I hate teams that have this kind of power over players. You pay the gentleman or you trade him. If you're not willing to pay him, I understand you have a cap and you have to pay certain players, but arguably he's the best player on the team. And I know it's a quarterback-driven league, but come on. All right. So that's Le'Veon Bell. We'll see if we get back to him or not. Let's talk about the rest of the news and the notes. The number 2 one I have on my list is Jerick McKinnon out for the season with a torn ACL. And if we look at the big board, that is my 3rd overall pick. Very disappointed in that. Just listening to all the back and forth between podcasts and what I'm reading online, seems like people are pretty split between Matt Breida and Alfred Morris. Who do you guys think will be? Let's just go for week 1. Who do you think is going to be the guy that's going to get the most points week 1?
Neither. I think they both suck week 1.
Well, so they're both going to get 0.
I think.
I don't like this sassiness from Mikey already. Fine, they're going to stink,
sorry.
but at least back it up with, at least Breida will get 2 points.
The reason I just said that is like Minnesota at home especially is like one of the best run defenses in the league. And so, I just don't like either. But I guess if I had to pick one, it would be Kyle Juszczyk. At least he's got.
Let's see if Todd can answer my question.
Yeah.
Todd, between the two.
I don't think it's. I want to say Alfred Morris, but for your sake, I
No,
think, okay.
don't for my sake. You're an analyst.
I know.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
You're supposed to bring
I pretend to be an
information on who
analyst.
do you, not based on what I think or what Mikey thinks or if it's good for my team. It's who do you think
Who's gonna
based
get
on the matchup, based on how many targets or touches this person's going to get? Because it seems like people are pretty split.
I'll go Alfred Morris.
Because?
I think he's a little his skill set's is a little bit better just because he's shown it a little bit more even when in Dallas when Ezekiel Elliott was having all his court stuff. He showed he could carry the load. So I think that's going to help. I think San Francisco is going to look at that and say he can carry the load. So I think Alfred Morris. And I think Alfred Morris will get at least 6 or 7, 8 points.
All right. So Todd is saying Alfred Morris. Mikey is saying
Kyle Juszczyk.
anybody else.
And-
Anybody else.
I like Breida for the season though.
All right. So sucks for me. I do have Breida, but I have him in there right now, but it could definitely change depending on how everything shakes out. There's still a few days between injuries and other guys, other situations, so we'll see how it happens. Another guy that was lost for the season, a guy that was drafted somewhere up there, Marquise Lee. He was drafted in the 8th round there by the Belt Sanders, and so now D.D. Westbrook and Keelan Cole are kind of the front runners there. Who knows? I'm not going to ask you guys who you guys think it's going to be. We kind of talked about that, who we thought at the beginning of the season who would jump out, and you guys will just have to listen to the archive for that. Sorry. You guys got to listen to the show. Mike Gillislee signs with the Saints. Is that newsworthy or not? Yes or no?
Yeah, NWA may play him. You never know. I mean, it's a possibility. Take a look at his other running backs. I would think that it's a definite possibility.
All right.
Yeah.
Todd has nothing to say. All right. No, it's fine. More news. Khalil Mack traded to the Bears. Incredible. I mean, they already had a solid defense, at least defensive parts. Now he goes out of the Broncos division, which is great for us Bronco fans. Mm-hmm. But he's going to go and have to face off against some some Aaron Rodgers. At least even in week 1, I believe they're playing Aaron Rodgers. So Khalil Mack, does that make you want to go rush out and grab the Bears defense on fantasy-wise purposes?
It definitely makes them outable. I mean, they were an underrated defense before.
This is correct.
So adding another big-time pass rusher, one of the best in the leagues, I would let everybody in the league know, yes, I wouldn't necessarily do it now because they're playing Green Bay, but they're going to have some matchups where the Bears are going to put up some points this year.
Yeah, definitely a streaming defense for sure. I definitely
Todd
keep
says streaming defense. Look at you using fantasy football terms. Good job.
Exactly. Hey, I have my moments, but yeah, I mean, definitely it. And I'll say this just for the Raiders' sake, you better hope those 2 first-round draft picks, the picks you have for the next 2 years, better be close to what Khalil Mack is. But that's a
different football show.
I know.
It doesn't really affect us too much, but I see what you're saying though. And I just lost my place. Okay, Aaron Donald, he signs what was the biggest contract for a defensive lineman until Khalil Mack signed. So that's good for all those people out there that have the
I'm not even
Rams.
going to go there. I'm not going there.
What does that mean by that?
I went there on the last podcast.
What are you talking about?
The Rams defense, where they went.
Oh, we'll
took
talk
it?
about bad. We'll talk about good and bad picks. But for those that were interested, and I can't get this stupid thing off my screen. All right, so Jay Ajayi is a full go. So we'll see if Aaron plays him this week. Nathan Peterman is the Bills starting quarterback. Hoopity-hoo! Yippity-hoo-ha. Yeah,
Good for Dylan.
Oh boy.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just say Royce Freeman, he was named as the starter for the Broncos, and we'll talk about all that as we go along. Let's first talk about kind of how the party went. It was a draft. I remember a year ago, I was like, I don't want to do a party because it was just so much hassle, so much headache. I was frustrated after it was all said and done, but we ended up having the draft party at my place. We didn't do it at school. We did it in the backyard. Thought it went pretty well. I thought it was really fun. What do you guys
I
think?
thought it went really well.
Yeah, this is one of the best ones I think so far, at least that I've been in. Just overall, it was outside, and it was a great time. It was a great time, and I obviously thank Daniel for being our Vanna White. So.
Yes, Mikey's brother Daniel came in, allowed me to focus a little more on my draft, which I thought went great until the injury. But, I mean, it was fun. I mean, the Bean Boozle was fun, although my breath smelled like dog food. Like, it didn't taste bad. I mean, it didn't taste good, but it wasn't like spoiled milk, which made me want to puke. But, like, people were just, like, walking away from me. People were sitting next to me like, oh, that just smells awful. I mean, it lingered.
Yeah.
So, Bean Boozled, that was really fun. I think we should bring that back again next year.
Yep, Todd definitely wants another try.
Oh, yeah, that was a great moment when Todd he just chewed it for a little bit and was ready to puke right away. And he spit it out. Everybody else was a champ, chewed it and swallowed it. Todd, however, explain yourself.
I like cheese on my sandwiches, and I don't want that jelly bean to ruin cheese for me. Okay, because that was some moldy cheese. that was not cool. No, that was not cool. And yes, probably leading up to it, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Oh no, that was a wrap after that. So yeah.
All right. But, yeah, the party was fun.
It was fun, yeah.
Kind of missed we didn't have Paul in there. That definitely made things interesting, good and bad for him that he wasn't there. But, I mean, he's got a pretty solid team. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's talk about the draft itself. We're going to talk about some folks that went too early, some surprises, some good draft picks. We'll start off in the first round. So let's talk about the first round only right now. So give me some of your thoughts. Was there someone that went too early? Were there some surprises, or do you think it went pretty normal?
It definitely went as normal as it possibly could go.
I agree with that.
This is the first draft I think we've done in 15, 16 years where I didn't come away shocked with any pick.
And no quarterback.
Right.
Which I think is the first time in our 17 years, as far as I can remember. I mean, even last year we had Drew Brees go in the first round. And so to not have a quarterback and really no quarterbacks in the first two rounds.
Yeah.
So good job, league, right?
Very nice.
I think the league some of them were listening to the podcast. Congratulations. You can wait on quarterbacks, get some good stuff later. Backup quarterbacks is a different situation, but we're talking about the first round right now. The only thing I'll say about it is I thought Julio went early, but he's not surprised to be there.
No.
Like,
no.
he's a first-round talent when everything's going good. Fournette, I thought, went a little early just based on a PPR league, but he's still a viable elite running back, so it's not surprising there either. So good job, league. First round went really, really well. What else? Let's see. We're going to give you your stage to talk about your team. Now, don't take too long.
Okay.
I know Todd likes to go through every pick every time we do this. So just give me some of your favorite ones and some of the ones that you don't like. So
All
go
right.
ahead. So with Butterfingers, give me some things you liked. Give me some things you didn't like.
All right. So I obviously like the Saquon Barkley pick.
Why Barkley over Fournette and Dalvin Cook?
Just because he's going to get all the carries. And, there's not really any tape on him. Excuse me. There's not really a lot of tape on him. So, kind of go big or go home, on that one. And, obviously in the preseason, he was, a lot of hype on him. So I really like, that pick. I mean, I was kind of going for Kamara, but I knew it probably wasn't going to last that long. And then, my two wide receivers, Devontae Adams and Doug Baldwin. I thought that was a good 1-2 punch. Getting there, obviously, I know in previous podcasts I've pretty much put Devontae Adams on on top of Mount Olympus. If he's going to be the greatest wide receiver.
20 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, 20 touchdowns, exactly. So I like my two wide receivers there. Obviously, the Ronald Jones pick obviously was a little bit of a reach.
I've heard today that he's third on the depth
third
chart.
straight. Yeah, he's third.
Yikes.
And but I thought, well, Tampa Bay is kind of a little bit of a mess there, and he's kind of a good back that can catch the ball. Obviously, it didn't show in preseason, but preseason sometimes certain players can have crappy preseasons, but just have awesome regular seasons where the games count. And then finally would be, not drafting Kirk Cousins.
You had your chance.
I had my chance.
Mikey called you out.
Mikey did
Said,
call.
if you're going to do it, this is the time.
This is the
And
time.
of course, you make him look like a genius, and you pass, and then someone else gets him before your next chance.
Yes, and pointed out too, Dylan, like I said, has already offered me 2 offers for to give me Kirk Cousins, and I have declined them both. But I feel good about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, he can definitely put up those points. He's done it for me in the past. He's helped me win a championship. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Now, obviously, I think the pick that I was going to pick Kirk Cousins at was the Ty Montgomery, excuse me, pick. So, but other than that, I like my team. Obviously, I'll feel the reaches in there. I mean, Michael Gallup, maybe was a little bit of reach, but he potentially might be, a 1 or 2 in Dallas because, their wide receiver core is being shuffled. So other than that, I really do like my team. It's my 2 wide receivers. I think I really got, 2 good wide receivers, and they're attached to 2 great quarterbacks. So that made me feel really good about those 2 picks. So,
all right, Mikey.
You know,
you're already winning the championship, right? According to you.
True, but I have to call out Todd for a second here, just for a second,
all right, okay.
because if you truly felt like Kirk Cousins was your number 1 quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and that he was going to be better than any other quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what your rankings were because that was a couple podcasts ago, but I don't think Matt Ryan was in your top 10. So if there was a difference there between number 1 and a guy that was outside of the top 10, and you knew that he was probably going to go in that round and you still pass on him, to me, I think it's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Wow, it feels like I'm in the principal's office. Jeez.
Well, he's just stating
I know,
because you figured
I
he
know.
was going to be that good.
Good, yeah.
I mean, did he say 50 touchdowns?
No,
We'd have to go back
I
and
think
look.
he said like 40, but number 1 guy. That's like so compared
As
to
opposed to like 750 points compared to maybe 600.
compared to any other position, it's like saying, well, I can take Antonio Brown this round, but I think I'd be okay with Jarvis Landry in the same round.
That's a big drop off.
Yeah. But that's only if you think that he's number 1.
But also, too, I was telling myself, too, I wanted to see how the draft board would go. And, I thought maybe he would last a little bit longer. But, he
It's
didn't.
too bad because it would have been great to kind of follow Kirk Cousins all year with Todd attached to him.
It would. With my team, I thought that I had to reach a little bit in spots. I thought I got some value in some spots. I thought I had to reach a little bit with Royce Freeman.
Yeah,
But-
that was definitely my concern with your team.
But, he's been named the starter now, so that makes, me feel a little bit better about that. I really liked getting Emmanuel Sanders when I did.
No, that was a good pick.
I think there's value in the two running backs I took right after with Jamal Williams and Kerryon Johnson. And so,
And I like your Clement pick, too.
yeah, Clement too. I like my quarterbacks for where I got them. I like Juju Smith-Schuster, so I was happy I was able to get him. And the first two picks, I can't complain. Kareem Hunt,
that's great.
I think will be great. Wide receiver, I had trouble choosing. Like, I didn't really expect Beckham to be there. I thought I was going to be choosing between Michael Thomas and Keenan Allen. And then when he was there, I just kind of went, I can't not take him here. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that part of it. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I thought maybe I reached a little bit with Freeman in round 3, but I'm hoping that turns out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens with Royce Freeman. For sure. I thought you waited on defense, and I thought Chargers was perfect. I mean, you had them last year. They were great.
Yeah, I wasn't not going to do defense until the end of the draft.
We had some defense go a little early. We'll talk about that second. I'll quickly just go over my team real quick. I mean, I loved my first 4 picks. I thought they were incredible. McKinnon gone. Pain in my ass. Kevin was a little pain in my ass a little bit. I was hoping to get Jordan Howard over McKinnon. Just think if that would have been the case, I'd have been super thrilled, but such is. He sniped me somewhere else, too. I wanted Jarvis Landry over Julian Edelman. Reached on Julian Edelman for sure as my number 2 wide receiver. Not going to play the first 4 weeks, but I'm just trying to play the long game. Hopefully that ends up panning out. Getting Trey Burton. I love him everywhere, so I was happy to get him. We'll see what happens with Marlon Mack, but, I mean, I'm chargered up. Got a lot of Chargers on the team.
Sure are.
A lot riding. So if the Chargers do well this year, I'll be in good health, too. And I do have Matt Breida, but we'll see. Calvin Ridley, I thought, dropped a little bit later. I mean, I'm thrilled with New Orleans defense as my very last pick. Eventually picked up a kicker because I had to drop Jerick McKinnon. Tough. So, yeah, my team's solid. I'd have to have some work to do. So there you go. That's us talking about our teams. All right, so let's talk about some of the picks we thought were really great picks in this draft. Mikey, give me one.
I'll give you one. A pick that I really, really liked.
And you can't pick from your own team. I know you really like your team, but we're trying to talk about everybody else's team. You had your chance to say how awesome your team was.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'll go with Quain's team because I really like the Cooper Kupp pick. I wanted him, and I couldn't get him.
He took Cooper Kupp in the 9th round.
Yep.
Kind of a PPR guy in his second season, I
PPR
believe, so he has
guy,
room to improve.
Seconds, and I love the slot guys. I just really do. And he sniped me, and I wanted him. So I'm going to give that one to Quain. I really like the Cooper Kupp pick.
All right, Cooper Kupp. And for him, that is his 5th wide receiver. 1, 2, 3. 5th wide receiver. Some people would be so lucky to have that as their 5th wide receiver. And we'll talk about his flex spot later on in the show. Todd, is there a pick out there that stood out to you that you really liked?
I like Kilgore. I like the fact, Fournette and Cook back-to-back. That's a good 1-2 running back punch there. So that,
But I'm talking about picks that happened later.
So I would probably say this. That's a tough one, actually.
Damn it, Todd. You're supposed to do your homework before you get here. You're supposed to have it on your sheet.
Sorry.
You don't have it on your
I
sheet.
thought you were going to say Kirk Cousins.
What a great pick.
All right. I'd probably then Kevin's team. Jordan Howard. I thought that was a good pick.
Yeah, he definitely fell.
Just because it's kind of year 2 now in the system, and I think he definitely will surprise a lot of people. So I thought that was a great pick in the 3rd round.
All right. So one I had was Kenny Stills. I thought with Devontae Parker still kind of hurt. He has a good rapport with Tannehill. Tannehill threw him 9 touchdowns 2 years ago. So I think for someone who went in the 9th round to be a number 1 guy, because Parker and obviously Jarvis Landry is gone. There's going to be a lot of volume to be had there. I think Dolphins are going to be playing from behind a lot this year. I kind of like Kenny Stills. He was a guy I had on my radar and was hoping to kind of fill up my wide receivers. But I thought it was a good pick there by bye week in Miles. So nice job there by Miles. Any other ones that stood out to you? Either one of you?
Yeah, I mean, this one is kind of deeper down, but I actually like Eric's pick of Josh Doxson. I
He'll be
think
starting.
Yeah, and I honestly, he started to get some traction last year. I think Washington's one of those teams that's weak on the defensive end, and I don't really buy all that much into Adrian Peterson. So I think it's going to be a team that's losing a lot, that's going to have to throw. And Alex Smith is a decent quarterback, so I like your pick there. I think he's going to offer you some value later on.
I like your pick of Trey Burton. Tight end. Obviously, I know
Trey
you,
Boo Boo.
I know you always like, just get a tight end, that's just serviceable and just get you, 7, 8 points or whatever the case may be, or close to 10. And I think Trey Burton will be a good pick for you. And
The concern is that he hasn't done a full season yet. The good news is that, what's his name? Who is his backup? He just went on the PUP list. I can't remember his name, but he's the other tight end in Chicago. Out for 6 weeks for sure. And
was it Miller?
no.
Oh, no, that's not-
It's
that's-
like Shaheen or something like that. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, Adam Shaheen.
Thank you. So that's the gentleman. So he's out. I think that helps. And as much as I'm not a Trubisky fan, Nagy, Travis Kelce, that all worked out. And I think, that's going to be huge for him. One that I had really late, Keelan Cole in the 14th round. With Marquise Lee gone, I think we were all kind of split between him and D.D. Westbrook. But I think both of those who were really late picks in an offense that's, they're going to have to throw to somebody. To have that in the 14th round could be the number one wide receiver. That could end up being kind of my steal of the draft, really. If I was going to pick one guy that was the steal of the draft, I would probably pick him.
Yeah, and I wanted to give Aaron some love, too, because he made 2 picks kind of towards the end that I think are going to help him with Bilal Powell and Danny Amendola.
Yeah?
I liked Powell better than I liked Crowell. So I think he's going to end up with the better end of that. And Amendola, another slot guy, I think is going to have a lot of success in Miami, too. So
Yeah, there's another Miami guy for sure. So, yeah, so those are like I said Corey Clement already. I had James Conner. Depending on all that was definitely on my list. This is what I was doing yesterday. Obviously, it's a better pick now, 17th round. So good job there for bye week. We'll kind of keep moving along here. I also said Rashad Penny to NWA because I think he kind of fell. You never know with those running backs.
I had that on my bad list.
That was the bad list? Okay, well, let's talk about the bad list then. Let's talk about it. So you didn't like the Penny.
Didn't like the Penny. Well,
It's ninth round, right?
I can go. There's a couple picks that NWA made that I was just kind of like, the Rams pick is the worst pick in the draft. I'll say-
8th round defense.
Well, Eric Decker's the second one because he retired. But no, I mean, looking at his team, I don't like Jamison Crowder that much. I don't like Rashad Penny that much. Yeah.
Gronk in the second, depending on if you're a Gronk or not a Gronk fan.
Yeah, I mean, but if he's healthy, which he never is, then
Yeah, we all can attest to that. That's for sure.
that one's fine, whatever. But yeah, the Rams one's the worst one. For me.
Penny went in the 7th round. I think I said 9th, but he actually went
Yeah.
in the 7th round.
I just don't like what I've been hearing, that he's fat and he's already hurt. And
Well, it says Chris
they
Carson.
like Chris
But at this
Carson.
point of the draft, I guess it just depends on who's out there and who you like or don't like. I mean, going around him, Sony Michel, another rookie running back that hasn't been highly touted. Chris Thompson, although they're saying he's supposed to play this week, he's not 100%. Marlon Mack is hurt. Tevin Coleman, I mean, I like him above everyone else, but just not a lot of great options there for running back. I guess on the way back, there's Chris Carton, Peyton Barber, who are two
starters.
starting running backs. So there's that. So Mikey might be right about that. Todd, is there a pick up there that you don't like?
The Crowder one, that was one too. I don't like Derrick Henry. I know he's the starter, but I didn't like that one, and I didn't like the Sammy Watkins pick either. And that's just more based on, I don't know, health wise and productivity for those two players.
Watkins went in the 8th round to Miles, and then Derrick Henry went in the 4th round. Which I'm fine with. I mean, if you look at the running, depending on the running backs you like, but I mean, 4th round is not bad for Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
But I get the Sammy Watkins pick because you just don't know what you're going to get
Exactly.
from him. And that whole offense is such a question mark right now.
Well, and two, if you're basing your offense around Tyreek Hill too, I mean, and if that's your and you're like you said, basing on the fact of Sammy Watkins staying healthy or just getting being more productive. But yeah, but those were the couple of ones that I didn't like.
Some of the ones I didn't like Jordy Nelson in the 6th round. There's way better options out there for a guy who's, what is he, 32 years old? I know you're a bigger fan than I am.
I like him better now. I hate to
but-
pick above him worse.
Yeah, Marshawn. But at least running backs are harder to come by. Where Jordy Nelson, you just go through the list. There's way better options. Emmanuel Sanders is up there, and I like Corey Davis, and Josh Gordon is still up there. So Jordy Nelson was a pick that he sounds sexy, I guess.
They're going to be throwing that rock.
Well,
especially now after that Mac trade.
Yeah, that's true.
it's going to be tough. I don't know. Other ones. I thought Michael Gallup was early in the 8th, but we talked about that. He went ahead of guys like Randall Cobb, Kenny Stills, Robbie Anderson, Cooper Kupp. There's a lot of good guys that he could have waited a couple rounds and probably still got Gallup.
Well, with the Cooper Cup, but I picked Robert Woods though, so I wasn't gonna go.
So what?
I don't think that matters in an offense that can provide production.
You picked the better player.
Yeah, but Michael Gallup might be the number one guy.
Todd, I'm going to have to teach you some stuff.
Well, hopefully he's been learning this whole time we've been doing podcasts for the last couple of years.
No.
But I think that also the thing with, sure, he could be number 1 or number 2, but rookie wide receivers aren't really known for doing great in their first year. So for them, it's like, 50 catches maybe, if he gets enough productivity, maybe 3 to 4 touchdowns. Probably a little early.
It's like saying, when Minnesota had Chris Carter and Randy Moss on the same team. Well, I took Randy Moss, so I don't really want to take Chris Carter. I'll take Terrence Mathis instead.
Yeah. So LaShawn McCoy went early. I'm not a big McCoy guy. I get it. But he went ahead of guys like T.Y. Hilton, Thielen. And I looked at the 3rd round. I was like, everybody in the 3rd round. Well, what else you guys got? Anything else on that board that just makes you want to question what's going on? I thought for the most part, most people did a good job. There was obviously a lot of questionable stuff, but
There was, but, I thought for the most part, everybody, did a pretty good job.
Yeah, there wasn't any.
I'm not a big fan of early quarterbacks. In terms of that early quarterback run in the 3rd round. But, I can't be mad either because they waited. We had some people wait until not the first 2 rounds to pick up your quarterback. But, for someone like me who's going to wait, that just pushes the talent down, although my talent's now out for the season. But, it does push everything down a little bit because of those quarterbacks.
I was going to
in the
be
early
critical
3rd
of you and Julian Edelman, but you're already critical on yourself.
Yeah,
so.
no, that was – if he pans out, then I wanted a good number 2, and I think he could be a good number 2 when he gets back. I just have to tread water. Not drown. And I think I'm good enough where I can put pieces in if I need to. So let's see. I think defenses. We had some defenses go early, but I think that's just someone gets one and then the rest go.
Yeah, where was the at?
I'll applaud Quayne just for not taking a kicker because you can get him later. There's so many good kickers. So if you drafted one before the last couple of rounds, but I also I got a great kicker Quayne just picked his up today. I picked mine up a couple days ago. But so there's that. Anything else we want to say about the board? Which teams, total teams, do you like? Anybody stand out?
I like Kevin because
you're not allowed to like Kevin because he drafted right next to me.
Well,
jerk.
Here's why. You take Kevin's first 6 picks. Hopkins, Devontae Freeman, Jordan Howard, Golden Tate, Jarvis Landry, and Russell Wilson. He could legit set a lineup and, just go with it without having to worry about who am I going to put in my flex? Who am I going to play running backs? He's set. He just plays those guys.
Yep,
and he's good to go. And so, the rest of those guys, he just worries about on bye week, and he can just play matchups. But those top 6 guys, there he is.
I like the reigning champ. I like his picks with Fournette, Cook, Fitzgerald, Diggs, and even Goodwin. Roethlisberger's his quarterback, so I like his team.
Yeah, Kilgore seems to be able to do it every year, for sure. golly, you know, I kind of had Kilgore. I don't hate Gonzo Katz. He's got, I mean, Julio and A.J. Green, good 1-2. Mixon and Drake, so he's got his running backs. Lewis, if you're a Lewis fan, which I kind of am. And if Andrew Luck pans out, he also has Jimmy Graham. I kind of like that too. But that's because I helped draft him. No.
I guess if you
But-
like Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, he's going to get all the carries. I mean, you're not a Giovanni Bernard guy.
I'm not either one of those.
So
guys.
someone's got to get the love over there. And there's a lot of people picking the Bengals to go to the playoffs. So someone's got to be productive on that team, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So anybody so we kind of talked about the guys we don't like. So we really don't want to talk about the teams we don't like, but there were some of the teams that we do like. If we were to pick one team, last year we picked Kilgore Trout as the best team. He ended up winning the whole thing. So who is this year's Kilgore Trout? Who's this year's team that, based on draft day, is the team that's going to win it all? And if you want to say yourself, fine.
I'm not. I'm going to go with Kevin.
Really? You're going to go with Kevin. Okay. Todd?
Well, I'm gonna be that jackass, but I'll say my team because I really
that's not surprising.
yeah. Okay.
That is definitely not surprising.
I really do like my team though.
yeah.
I mean, my two running backs, my two that I really do. I
But
really like my team.
I will put this caveat out there. I don't believe it's going to happen, but on the off chance that it does, Quain's holding the lottery ticket, and that's Josh Gordon. So if Josh Gordon is Josh Gordon from 2013, which I don't think he's going to be, then it just kind of completes his team a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either.
But you're right. He has that ability to change the game if things work out. I agree with that. I'm going to say Kilgore Trout. He waited even an extra round to get his quarterback, and he got Mark Ingram. So when he comes back, that's another great running back in case a bye week happens. Fournette and Cook are great 1-2. He got the PPR master in Fitzgerald. Diggs could easily get 10 or more touchdowns this year. I know you're not a Goodwin guy, but I think Goodwin could be a good PPR guy. He's also got Evan Ingram with some upside. So I kind of like his team. I mean, I think he picked his backup early, but, you know, Big Ben's old. Things could happen. But, yeah, so that's who I think. So there you go. So that's what we think about this year's fantasy draft. And we'll see if Todd even makes the playoffs.
No.
Mikey says no. Okay. All right, so we're going to try a new segment. Just because we're 1 day away from the first game and then a couple days from the first weekend of the NFL season. So we're going to see if we can help some teams out with some position battles. Now, I asked on Facebook. Aaron was funny with his kicker remarks. Screw you, Aaron. But in terms of Quain, he actually gave us one. So and then I kind of created a couple that I sent to you guys. So we'll start with Quain, notorious CUP. He's looking for some flex help. And he says he's worried about his flex game because he has a lot of options. It's so tough to be so many options. But here are his options. He's deciding between Allen Robinson at Green Bay, Duke Johnson versus Pittsburgh, Josh Gordon versus Pittsburgh, Adrian Peterson versus Arizona. So out of those four guys, who do you think Quain should use as his week 1 flex? Todd?
Adrian Peterson.
Because
Well, they're gonna run him. They're gonna run him in the ground now. So I think it's kind of more of a little bit of redemption too. So Duke Johnson, that's against Pittsburgh, and that's always tricky. And Allen Robinson, it's in Green Bay, a little tricky. So I'd go with Adrian Peterson.
all right. Mikey totally disagrees with Todd.
I-
Shaking his head since
I
AP came out of his mouth.
Agree.
Uh,
Let's
So
disagree with
tell us
Todd.
why you don't like AP and who would you choose?
All right. The reason I don't agree with Adrian Peterson is that it's a Washington team that's going on the road into Arizona. So they're not going to be favored. They're probably going to be behind in that game. Arizona's already a tough rushing defense. So based on game script, it wouldn't look good for Adrian Peterson. If they're losing, he's not going to play on third down because Chris Thompson's going to be in there. So
If he's healthy.
Yeah, if
They're
he's-
saying
he's
he
healthy,
is.
but even if
but
he's
you don't.
not, they're not going to play him on third down because
It's
he
true.
doesn't catch the ball.
Yep.
So I don't see any way that Adrian Peterson's going to get to 20 carries in this game. If you play him, you're going to have to pray he gets a touchdown.
Right.
If he doesn't, then you're screwed.
And if he gets that touchdown, it'll probably be more of a Bradford pick or a fumble of some sort, and then they give it to him at the 1 yard line.
Right.
But in terms of carries and touches,
I think he probably gets
probably
10 to
not a
12.
lot.
I think he gets 10 to 12, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to be
Against a
throwing.
good defense.
And I think that's why Alex Smith's such a good fantasy play for most of the season because they're going to have to throw. We kind of talked about this before.
I don't really know why he chose those 4 when Cooper Kupp would be an option.
Well, we were here to tell him if you think he's the best option out of those guys, then tell him that.
I do. Because if based on the guys he gave, I would have either taken a chance on Allen Robinson. I wouldn't really go Josh Gordon at this point because you don't really know what you're going to see. He missed most of camp, and I don't really feel like they would just throw him out there where he would be playing every down. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. Duke Johnson.
I think Duke Johnson's a good play. That was my pick because I think in that situation, Browns are probably going to be playing from behind.
Yeah,
and he's going to get the run, and he's the one that's going to be able to, I think, get the most touches out of all of those guys.
That's
so. I mean, he's not. I don't think he has the option to get up to 20 points.
Yeah.
Maybe in 15. But if he can get some passes here and there, help him a little bit.
Agreed. That's why
I think he's the safest pick. Maybe not the highest ceiling.
Out of what he gave, I would have went him or Allen Robinson because Allen Robinson.
Green Bay's got some young corners.
Yeah, they drafted a bunch, and they were terrible last year. They gave up a ton of big plays.
Yeah. But is the chemistry between Trubisky and Allen Robinson going to be there enough?
But yeah, Cooper,
I don't know.
Cooper Kupp's
the
my
upside,
favorite.
So if you need a high ceiling player, maybe you go Allen Robinson. Maybe he explodes and has a great day against these really young corners. I mean, he's coming off an ACL injury too. So you have to worry about that. But if you want a safe pick, maybe you go with Duke Johnson because you know he's going to get run.
I think if you put Cooper Kupp in,
you're saying Cooper Kupp.
You take your 10 points, and then you're just good.
All right. So
bad Raider defense. Plus, you get not that it's an advantage, but like they're playing the late game on Monday night, and it's always fun when you have that. So in case
I try not to use that anymore.
Yeah,
I pray that I'm not on a Thursday night game.
Honestly,
ever again.
it doesn't make a difference. What makes the difference is that Raider defense is just crap.
Yes.
And as a slot guy, Kupp's more of like a PPR guy. So,
but if they're winning big, it could be the Todd Gurley show in the second half.
I hope not.
So you got to hope he gets all his money in the first half.
Could be.
Which is definitely possible. So it just depends on how.
I just look at it as it's a high scoring offense. He's more likely to, especially the receivers, to get more work catches than the other guys. At least in my opinion.
So Todd says AP. Mikey says
Cooper Kupp.
And I say Duke Johnson. Okay, so the rest of these guys, I picked them based on kind of situations I thought maybe they should switch some guys out. So, but maybe you guys decide to keep them in. Okay, so for bye week, which 2 out of these 3 guys? So for these wide receivers, Jordy Nelson versus the Rams at home, Sammy Watkins on the road versus the Chargers, or Kenny Stills versus Titans at home.
I'm taking Kenny Stills.
Yeah.
Tennessee's defense, especially their pass defense and their secondary, is terrible. And so I actually even like Ryan Tannehill. I think the Dolphins' offense.
Mikey's saying Tannehill DFS play.
Possibly.
Tournament time.
Sleeper DFS play.
If you guys do DFS.
Yeah, I would take Kenny Stills in that situation. Second would be Jordy Nelson because they're going to be behind and have to throw. And I'll just say no on Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I agree. I'm agreeing with Mikey.
Yeah, sweep it. Devontae Parker probably not going to play this weekend.
Yeah.
So we've already kind of talked about the upside of Kenny Stills. All right, now for Kevin, the team that's going to win it all. I guess we need to help him. Pick one of these guys. Are we going to go with Michael Crabtree versus Buffalo or Jarvis Landry versus Pittsburgh?
You're going to go with Jarvis Landry, and here's why. The Buffalo, it seems like they would be a bad team, but they're going, into Baltimore against a good defense. So everything about that game tells me it's going to be kind of low scoring, and Buffalo's pass defense isn't that bad. So I think this is more of just like Baltimore not needing to throw the ball that much. Like if you're going to attack Buffalo, Buffalo's rush defense is awful. this is a Alex Collins just is going to eat them alive game.
That's wonderful to hear. I'm glad as an Alex Collins owner, that's exciting to hear. So you said Landry too?
Yeah, Landry too.
Yeah, I was a big Landry guy. Playing from behind, he'll have every opportunity for the entire game to rack up some points. Maybe even get a touchdown because I know that's a guy they're featuring. That's a guy I paid a lot of money to. Landry all the way. Okay, Gonzo Cats flex option here. So pick one of these guys. Is it Deion Lewis at Miami, Kelvin Benjamin at the Ravens, or James White versus Houston?
This was tough. It's not. The answer is not Kelvin Benjamin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna make a call here, and people can call me out on it later. Deion Lewis seems like the safe option, but I'm actually saying James White.
Mikey, Todd is so thrilled. He's such a James White guy. Such a James White homer.
Yeah,
He'd marry him and kiss him right now if he could.
Highest total on the board for Vegas is the Patriots and Texans this weekend. Everybody's expecting it to be a shootout. The Patriots are without Julian Edelman already. Sony Michel's not really healthy.
So you're not saying it's going to be a high scoring with all these weapons?
No,
going.
what I'm saying is it is going to be a high scoring game. So Patriots only kept 3 receivers, and that was Cordero Patterson, Chris Hogan, and Philip Dorsett. So I think they're going to play with Rex Burkhead and James White on the field at all times. So I think this is one of those James White catch 10 passes game.
Wow. So you heard it there from Mikey. Todd, anything else? Were you saying James White too?
Yeah, James White, yeah.
That's all you got?
That's all you got. That's all. Hey, Mikey said.
Never doing your homework.
But Deion Lewis honestly is the safer.
That's what I said. I figured he was the guy that was going to get to play in a shootout situation. I thought New England would come out with the win. I definitely like Deion Lewis kind of having to play from behind in that situation. All right, let's talk about Belt Sanders here. Another flex situation. Do you start Sterling Shepard versus the Jags or Devin Funchess versus Dallas?
Devin Funchess.
Can I not start either of them and then just like...
Does he have a better option on the board? You tell me.
Wow. So, no.
So there you go. You got to go with one of those two guys.
Okay. There's something that can be said for Ted Ginn Jr., maybe, here.
Really?
Tampa was one of the worst teams in the league as far as covering deep pass plays. So there's a chance Ted Ginn maybe hits one of those 50-yard touchdowns. But that's throwing a, whatever.
Flyer.
So, yeah.
Dart on a board.
So I guess I would just go with Devin Funchess, number 1 receiver in Carolina. Go there. Jacksonville's defense super good, especially against wide receivers. I don't really want to touch Sterling Shepard.
And Evan Ingram passed concussion protocol today.
Yeah.
So that's one less option, or I guess another option that Giants have on their team. Takes away from Sterling Shepard. They're saying there's supposed to be 43 points scored in that Carolina-Dallas game. So why not just throw Devin Funchess, who seems to be touchdown or nothing. I think we have one more. NWA, he's got some running back injury concerns. So, obviously with Rashad Penny, so he's scheduled to face the Broncos. Tough situation, especially if he's injured. You have Doug Martin versus the Rams, another tough situation, or Mike Gillislee versus Tampa.
Mike Gillislee. At least you get it some.
But Mike Gillislee doesn't even know the playbook right now. He was signed, 4 days ago, 5 days ago?
Just put him at the goal line and hand the ball off to him.
That's what it would be. You're hoping for 2 carries and 2 touchdowns. That's what you would hope.
In a game against Tampa, there's going to be a lot of points scored on Tampa.
I hate all of the options that he has. I really do as far as his running backs. What makes the most sense to me in my head is that the Raiders would be losing and Marshawn Lynch wouldn't be the one on the field, that Doug Martin would be the guy catching passes. So I would probably go there, but there's merit to Gillislee.
There is. I think there's something to that. I'd pick Mike Gillislee too. All it takes is for an interception and a fumble, and he punches in from the 1. But that's all you're going to get.
That's all you're.
That is all you're going to get is 6 points, maybe 7 if he can get over 10. But I don't even think that's possible. But if you're asking me who I'm starting, if on my team, it'd be Gillislee.
But, honestly, for him, I mean, it'll be worth it because he's got David Johnson against the Redskins this week, and the Redskins are just, oh, my God, they're so terrible.
So he
against the
needs to
run.
really make up.
David Johnson could put up 30 this week. He honestly could.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I think we're getting close to an hour. I didn't really keep an eye on the time. Anything else you want to say about this week, about fantasy? Before we get out of here, I think I'm excited for the new season. I don't have to work on Sunday, so I'm going to sit around and not do anything all day. So I'm super excited about that. Maybe any advice for owners? Don't panic in the first week.
Yeah, a lot of people do in the first couple weeks, and they make drops that they later regret.
Yep.
Which, no, everybody panic.
Yeah, so we can pick up your leave-ins for sure. Trade. Let's see some more trades in the league. Let's get excited. I know Dylan's trying to trade with Todd right now, but don't be afraid to trade. I think a lot of people, especially, I think we're in a more competitive league than we are maybe like a work league. I think everybody's trying to win, and so they're thinking, well, if I'm trading, they're probably trying to screw me, or they know something about this player that I don't know. But I think trading brings fun to the league. I think talking on the message board should be fun. That's the whole reason I bring it up. Is how about that? Mike Gillislee has 3 touchdowns in your face, Aaron. Just stuff like that. I would like to see more interaction and more fun in the league. Mm-hmm. And I know, we're trying to have fun and we're trying to win. We're trying to beat Mikey because he's a pain in the rear. But let's have fun. So I'm going to try to do some more trades if I can help it.
Yeah, you're going to need them.
Whoa, cowboy. You're probably right. All right, so last thing before we go. Give me your Super Bowl matchup, Super Bowl winner, and MVP. Todd, we'll start with you because it's going to be Todd Diamond and taking on the Saints. Is that who it is? Todd Diamond's going to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
He's going to be the Super Bowl MVP because Todd's so great.
Exactly. I'm going to go to Disneyland. It's going to be awesome.
Perfect.
Okay.
Of course, Disneyland.
Yeah. All right.
And then Vegas with the titties.
Exactly.
Here it comes, Denver Broncos. Here it comes.
Yeah, you're right. So Denver Broncos versus the Minnesota Vikings. And your Super Bowl MVP, because it's a bold prediction. Royce Freeman's going to be your Super Bowl MVP.
No, he asked for your MVP of the season, right?
No, Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, okay.
My mistake. I just said MVP because I was kind of I figured it just made sense. So I meant Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was wrong.
That's okay. It'll be the only time, I'm sure. So, Mikey, I hope you didn't pick the Denver Broncos.
I didn't. I knew it was coming from Todd even before he
That's
opened
amazing
his
to me.
mouth.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah,
But, I mean, we've heard crazier stuff come out of that
But
Todd's
he picks
mouth.
North Carolina win every year. So
And he picked his team to win the fantasy. All right.
He's a believer.
Yeah.
I love my
He's
Broncos.
blind. Blind love. That's what they say about love. It's blind. He has 4 eyes like the rest of us. But just tell me who you think all those 3 are.
Okay, so in the AFC, I like the Patriots.
But it makes sense.
Yeah, just I mean, it's the safe.
Without
pick.
Le'Veon, Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Yeah.
See you later.
Not even Houston.
No, it's just hard for me in that division to not think that they're gonna win home field advantage, and then somebody has to go into New England and beat them. That's
Without Doug Peterson, it's not going to happen.
until that division gets better. It's just extremely hard to do that. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so New England in the AFC, NFC now.
NFC, this one was a lot harder. I mean,
It is really top heavy over there.
there was a legit case for 8 teams that possibly can get there. But if I had to choose one, it was the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, that's not a ridiculous pick.
Yeah, I think their defense is getting a lot better.
I love
And
Vic Beasley.
It's the second
Love
year
Vic Beasley.
with their coordinator. I want to see it because they're going to be in Atlanta for the Super Bowl. So that's just kind of where I went.
Oh,
Hasn't really happened.
that's crazy.
you know.
They were
Minnesota-
hoping that was going to happen last year, and
And it didn't. And they screwed it all up. And so this year,
all right. So who's winning the
it's
Super
gonna
Bowl
happen.
between New England and the Falcons?
I want to say that Atlanta would get their revenge, but I'm going to pick the Patriots.
Man, so who wins the MVP? Is it Tom Brady again?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
God.
Tom
Man,
Brady.
come on,
Come on.
Mikey.
Quarterbacks always win the MVP.
I mean, I'll take it over the Broncos.
Hey,
Right.
hey. Broncos fan are you?
But that.
Hey,
but-
whoa! Don't
but you-
question my Bronco fanism. Just because I don't pick them, I know my team better than you know the Broncos, and they don't have enough. They don't have great quarterback play. Offensive line's not great. Secondary's a little questionable. Calm down. There's a lot better teams. Broncos, I'm not sure if they make the playoffs.
Oh, they're going to make the playoffs.
I don't know.
They're going to win
All
the
right.
Super Bowl.
Well, this is who I think.
Okay.
So, I don't have New England, thank goodness. But, I picked the Saints. I like what they did with Davenport.
Tell me, you're probably like the Chargers. Everybody likes the Chargers.
I did pick the Chargers.
Plus, they're all over your team.
They're all over my team. I have to like the Chargers, or I'm just screwed. No, I like what their defense is solid. If you're talking about bad divisions in New England, I'm not a big fan of the AFC West outside of the Chargers either. So they have a veteran quarterback. They have a good running game. They have a solid offensive line. They have guys that can get to the pass, that can rush the passer. And, I mean, you got to pick an outside team anyway. I mean, Philadelphia, they were 500 the year before they won the Super Bowl. So I'm picking someone outside of the norm. If I'm at least going to pick someone that has an opportunity, I'm just not going to go with chalk. I'm going to go with chalk with the Saints, and then someone outside the mark, outside of the bubble.
Fine. You want outside? Patriots, Bears.
Whoa.
I'd pick them over the Broncos. So, and I would pick Breeze as my MVP because quarterbacks usually make it. Okay, well, that's it. That's enough of the MHA podcast for this week. We'll see when the next time we do one. I don't know how it's going to work out. But good luck to everyone. Hope everybody has fun. Let's interact. Let's talk on the Facebook page. If you have questions that maybe for the next week, maybe we throw together some quick podcasts. I don't know. But we want to have fun. We're glad you guys are in this league. 12 teams. I love it. It's a perfect size for a league. And then the first game's tomorrow. And hopefully I'll have this up by Thursday morning so everybody can do their stuff. Didn't have anything really in terms of who to pick from those two teams, tomorrow night's games between the Falcons and the Eagles, but we'll do what we can. So, for the MHA podcast, Todd Diamond, Mikey Renault, and Eric Lansing, we'll see you next week, hopefully after week 1. MHA podcast. MHA podcast.
MHA podcast.